Hey everybody, welcome back. This is Pep, you're watching The Sentinel. Today I'm going to do a quick review of one of my favourite fragrances from an Australian house called Goldfield and Banks. There's been a bit of interest in Goldfield and Banks, and particularly this fragrance, which is Pacific Rock Moss. There are 5 fragrances in their line currently. There is this one, there is Desert Rosewood, which Sebastian from Smelling Great Fragrances has done a review of, which I'll leave a link to in the description. I have done a review of another one of theirs, White Sandalwood, which I'll leave a link to here. There is also Blue Cypress and the very latest release, Wood Infusion. Now, I'm going to leave a link to the website and their fragrances in the description as well. So there's been a bit of interest in this fragrance in particular through Facebook. I had a couple of inquiries about it and whether I would do a review. Now, this is the only full bottle I own from Goldfield and Banks. I intend on getting Desert Rosewood at some point, and probably Wood Infusion because they're my other two. But I chose this as my first full bottle because I really think that Pacific Rock Moss, when it comes to the area of fresher style scents, I really am. I'm pretty fussy, and also there doesn't seem to be in my mind a lot out there that isn't either like, you know, you're full on aquatic or you're really sharp citrus. Now there are great fragrances in those genres, and as a general rule, I'm not a big fan of aquatics. Now, I own Acqua di Gio Profumo, which I think is a nice fragrance, but I'm actually going to be selling my bottle of it because I don't love it, for starters, and while this is in my collection, I'm always going to reach for this over that particular fragrance. Now, these are 100ml bottles, eau de parfum concentration. This, along with the other three of them, were released in 2016. Now, what do I get when you spray it? Well, it's interesting because I'm aware of the notes that are in here. So there is lemon, there is sage, there is geranium, there is cedar, and then there is moss, and in particular rock moss, which shouldn't be mistaken for something like oak moss. The beauty about this fragrance is that it is so well blended that you can't, my nose, maybe a more trained nose, a more developed nose can pick stuff out, but it's so well blended that I can't pick out those individual things, and in this particular case, they are all working so well together. And what it reminds me of, now I've mentioned this before, I've talked about this in a recent video about fragrances that make me happy. This reminds me of where I first discovered it. So I was on vacation in Sydney, and Sydney's famous for their beaches and the water, and it's a real, kind of culture of that city, being around the water, the Pacific Ocean, and etc. When I spray this on, I always get that flashback, always connect it with that, and like the first thing I think of when I spray this on is that it's like being hit in the face by a spray of ocean water while you're walking along a rugged coast. So I picture a rocky coast, beautiful the ocean, and none of that. Not even so much your. Sometimes the beach has a bit of a smell about it. This is just marine coastline, and but you know, there are no listed aquatic notes in this, and you know, I don't know if all the published notes are what is in there, but that is what it reminds me of. And you know, for a freshie, this to me is quite unique because it's not dominated by fruit, it's not dominated by any citruses, and but you can tell that it is a fresh fragrance. It's very unisex, probably to me a little bit more masculine leaning, and the performance on this is unrivaled for this genre of scent. Seriously, this lasts on my skin anywhere up to 10 hours, and it projects, and I can't ask for anything more for this type of fragrance. And I think it's very reasonably priced as well. At the moment, I think it's around the $230 Australian mark for a 100ml bottle. They're very classy bottles, beautiful wooden cap. So performance is great. It's to me a unique freshie, a unique masculine freshie. This can be worn casually as well as formally. I think it's just the beauty of this is its versatility, and I wouldn't even reserve this just for warmer months. I would have no problem wearing this year round. Perfect office scent, and I really can't say much more about it other than a lot of the interest that I've been getting about this fragrance has come from some friends and followers in the US in particular. I can let you guys know that it should be available to order by late spring, Northern Hemisphere spring. So we are talking maybe May this year. So all I can suggest to you is keep an eye on their website, and I believe shipping, I have it on good authority that shipping internationally will begin from that point. So you'll all get to, you know, buy samples of the other fragrances. They at the moment you can buy samples, and the cost of those samples comes off the price of your full bottle purchase, which is great as well. And the samples are a good size in a sprayer. You can't go wrong. They just smell like quality. There is nothing about these fragrances that smell cheap, and I can't recommend them enough. And you know, I have a bottle, and to me that's a proof. I have a bottle in my collection. I would never sell this. I would never get rid of it, and I hope that's enough of a recommendation. So that's Pacific Rock Moss by Goldfield and Banks, and hopefully everyone around the world will soon be able to check this out and try it out. Thanks for watching. See you later.